All right. I think we're ready now. We're good. Or at least we should be. If I didn't fuck anything up. All right. Hello, Manny. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Mm, long time no see, bro. Uh,
Yeah.
um, my mom will probably come home very soon, and I don't know how much time I have. Well, she'll come home, but you know, I got hours for us to talk about whatever we got to talk about, Manny. Um, I don't remember when the last. Fuck, I didn't upload the last episode yet because my hand issues have been bad enough to where I've just avoided my computer completely, and I didn't even want to edit the last episode, like, even slightly. Um, so I've just been waiting to upload that. Maybe I can try to upload them sometime this week, both this and the last one. But I don't even usually when I talk about the things that I've watched since, I do it in reference to when we recorded the last one, but I don't know when we recorded the last one. I think it was January 15th, based on some of the files that I was reading. But I'm not going to waste time checking. How have you been? What's been going on with you? Update.
Uh, the same old, nothing new.
Nothing new.
Yeah. Well, I watched a lot of good
Oh,
things.
you did? Okay, because I called you once and you were like, Ellie, I haven't watched anything.
Yeah.
And like a
Nah.
whole month that went by. And I was like, oh. I went on a fucking tear in January because my hands were fucked up. Was the last call after New Year's or before New Year's? It had to be after.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had to be after New Year's. Um, so yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Um. Let's see.
Yeah, let me check my list too. My hands were fucked up, and I was just struggling to get a fucking job, so I was just watching a ton of movies in that time. Actually, while you're doing that, let me try to find the thing for the last episode we thing together. All right. Whew. All right.
Sorry.
Yeah, man.
Mm,
Fucking turn the volume up. Thank
Okay.
you.
Um.
Um, people.
So
Okay.
I watched a Clockwork Orange.
Oh shit!
Um.
First time?
Yeah. Yeah. First time.
Oh wow. Yeah, you got to talk about that.
Yeah. Not really a fan.
I didn't get it when I watched it.
Yeah.
I didn't
Um.
understand what the point was.
Yeah. I know. I know it's like dystopian because it's like I don't know. Cause I see people talk about it. And the main takeaway is that like they're trying to like his nature, like himself is like a bad person, and they're trying to like break that out of him, but like they can't really break it out of him
Oh,
because
okay.
it's part of his nature. I guess that's the main takeaway. But which is cool, but I can't lie. The movie was just not. It wasn't compelling. Compelling. It wasn't entertaining.
Mhm.
It was kind of forgettable. As soon as I finished it, I was like, you know what I mean?
I
I was like,
see.
let's go.
This
Compared to the other movies I will talk about later, like it's such a far cry from like of an experience for me. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Uh,
I think it's the Stanley Kubrick movie I enjoyed the least.
mhm. Yeah.
You'll like Barry Lyndon. Don't let it scare you off from that.
Nah, Kubrick. I'm definitely not scared from Kubrick, but this one was just so. I don't know. This one talks gets so. This is very high, like highly praised, but I didn't see it.
I just when I was watching it, I understood while watching it. I'm like, what the fuck is going on, and why should I care about
Yeah,
what's
right.
going on? Why should I like why am I watching some like extremely horrific stuff on the screen? what the fuck? Like,
And then nothing really happens to the guy.
yeah, nothing really happens to him. Yeah, I don't even remember the ending.
He's like talking to like the governor, and the governor's like thanking him for helping him like win, I guess. And then
Oh,
he's like,
okay.
and then like he's in like the hospital bed, and he just has a vision of him like having sex with a girl.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that feel of like that like final scene with him having like sex with the girl is like him saying like I'm still like a bad person.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. I won't forget the outfits. I won't forget the music. I won't forget the opening scene with him like drinking the milk and like him and his boys like sitting there and
Yeah,
the
that's a cool
zoom
shot.
out. That was a cool ass shot. I'm going to watch it again, and I trust that I will at least understand the point on the second watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. But glad you watched that.
Nah,
Hey
not
man,
impressed.
watch Barry Lyndon.
Next I watched Back to the Future.
All of them?
No, just the first one.
Okay.
I'm not really intrigued with the other ones.
Okay.
But you know, like I already seen this movie as a kid, but I think I
You
feel
never
like
saw the second one? Because the second one was like in a time like the year they
it's in the
travel to.
future, right?
It's in the future, and the year they travel is like a year that we didn't
It's like-
pass if we watched it when we were kids. So like there were things that they were like, are we gonna get this by the time we get to
Yeah.
this year? So
I remember I watched like the first when I was young. I watched like the first 20 minutes of it.
mm-hmm.
It was like I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
I'm
haven't
not really.
I don't get to see movies where they travel to the future like often. That novelty was why I was like so like gripped by the second one. I'm like, oh, they're going to the future this time. Like, oh, back to the okay, to the future. Like, actually,
What happens in the third one? You know?
the third one, they go back in time to the old fucking West, and the entire plot of the movie is they're trying to fix the car to get back home. And I'm like, I don't want to be in the old West. Just like, I don't know if the movie was bad, but like as a kid, I'm like, I want to be in the future.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I saw this movie as when I was younger. I saw the Family Guy like their remake. I really loved that.
Yeah.
But you know, the movie is solid. Nothing crazy. And it's short, so it's short, sweet. When this movie coming out, like 97?
I don't know.
Maybe before, but
I have it on my wall. It literally says it on my wall. Fucking 95? Oh, wait. Oh, 85 to 90.
yeah, I think
Yeah, so it's pretty fucking old.
yeah, it's a classic. I feel like with me, I feel like all the movies in my list, right?
Yeah.
Of course, there's movies I saw like years ago, but if they're gonna make the list now, like I have to rewatch them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't get blinded by nostalgia, things of that nature.
Yeah. Same here.
But yeah, I just, I was kind of bored, and the movie's short, so I just knocked it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not a movie like when I watched as a kid, I'm like, this is one of my favorites. I was like, as a kid, I was like, even when I was like 10 years old, I'm like, I'm obligated to watch this one, huh? So I was like,
Yeah.
even as a fifth grader, I'm like, all right, Back to the Future. Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was kind of just mid. I watched Casablanca.
Yeah.
This one.
I saw that. Tell me what you think.
No, this is a banger right here.
Yay, cool. I watched it in middle school. My teacher made us watch it. And I was super bored in middle school, and I watched it, but I hated my teacher, so I hated the movie by proxy of hating my teacher. But I probably would love it if I watched it today. And I was going to watch it so that we could talk about it, but I basically haven't seen the movie, but I have. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. This movie's really good. I
Awesome.
was really intrigued, start to finish. You know, the plot's not crazy. It's just compelling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the main actor, like that guy's a beast. I forgot his name.
Mm.
He's a beast. Like, cause he's like cynical. He's like cynical, right? And then like you find out why. And then you see like back in the day when he wasn't. He's like, damn. Like it's like night and day.
Yeah.
So it's really acted well. You know, the movie's a classic. It has a lot of those classic movie quotes. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Fucking.
always fun when you go back and see it and see where it came from.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the oldest movie I watched.
Older than
At least
12 Angry Men?
I think so.
I can also check on my wall. Can I get up again?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Probably. I think this one came 47 or 57.
Angry Men is 57. Casablanca.
When?
Angry Men is 57.
Mm.
It's gonna take me too long to find Casablanca, but it's probably around the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one's another short one,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really good for its runtime.
Good.
I would even say it's expertly done.
Dope. It's a classic for a reason. I imagine it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Cool.
Then I watched Lake Confidential.
Yeah. What is
Have you seen on my list?
I didn't see it on your list, but I've been scrolling by it on Netflix a lot recently because I've just been using Netflix a lot, and it's on my board, and I never heard of the movie before I saw it on Netflix and before I saw it on my board. So,
Yeah.
tell me what it's about.
This shit, man,
Good?
I liked it.
Okay.
It felt like The Departed, but I like this one more than Departed.
Woo.
It might be a hot take, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's three main characters, all cops, but the way they go about shit is very different.
Yeah.
And I think this is like on my list, the first like Kevin Spacey movie.
Mm.
And I know Kevin
Usual
Spacey.
Suspects. You watch Usual Suspects.
True. This is the second one. But I know when I think of Kevin Spacey, I think of Advanced Warfare, Call of Duty, or Infinite Warfare. One of those. I forget.
It was Advanced. Infinite Warfare was
Yeah.
Kit Harington, the guy from Game of Thrones.
Right. Yeah. He was good in Advanced Warfare. That's why I remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the movie, 2 hours. I think it's like 2 hours 10 minutes. But I was way more like focused and locked in on this one more than I was in The Departed. Because I don't know how long The Departed is, the runtime.
Yeah, I like to look stuff up when you ask questions, but my hands, I just can't be clicking.
The Departed is 2 hours and 30 minutes, and this one's like 2:15.
Oh,
But
okay.
this one seems like, I don't know, I feel like it's paced really well. And it's Guy Pearce, so it's the Memento guy.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? When I watched it, I was like, who is
he? Yeah. Even when you watch
familiar.
Memento, you're like, I've seen you.
Right. I was like, who is this? Because he's blonde in Memento. He's not blonde here. Like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
It's Guy Pearce. And then he was great. The Kevin Spacey's character is awesome.
Yeah.
And I just like the dynamic between like all three characters, and I think the whole mystery or what's going on, I found really interesting. And funny when it comes to like corrupt cops, I think this is the best I've seen. I found it really entertaining.
Awesome.
And there's so much like because it's kind of like character driven, and like there's a lot going on with the characters. It's really fascinating. I feel like if I did it, like if I rewatched it, like I would have like a page, like a lot to say. But
Awesome.
I watched it in my kitchen, and because my house is going under some construction,
Yeah.
so that kind of got in the way. But I
Mhm.
really liked it. It was really good.
That's good. That's good. I'll try to. I don't think it's leaving Netflix anytime soon, so I'll watch it. I'll watch it. It was something that like when I look at the poster on Netflix, I'm like, this is not very enticing. This could either be incredibly mid, but it's like on the classics list. But sometimes I listen to the list and I'm like, you lied to me. I just watched like a 5 out of 10 nonsense.
Yeah, I know. From what I've seen, like a lot of people call it like just a neo noir classic,
Mm-hmm.
and probably
Yeah.
I would say so.
Okay.
And I think the name is what got me.
LA.
LA Con-
It's a good
sounds
name.
cool as hell.
It's a cool ass name. Yeah.
Nah, it was cool as hell. That was the
Do you have a rating?
second favorite.
Do you have a rating for Casablanca and for LA Confidential?
No,
Nah. Okay.
not yet. Hold on. 1 sec.
I changed my audio settings at one point and now I'm worried.
I know they're both above 8
Okay.
or 8 and above for sure.
Nice.
Okay, so other than the 3 movies I told you to watch, Ex Machina, and Gattaca, Angel's Egg,
Mm-hmm.
I watched. This is the last thing I watched. I watched the anime,
Yay.
Golden Time. Have
Golden.
you seen that?
No, I've never heard of that. Golden Time?
Yeah, it's a romance. It's like an OG like classic anime romance one.
What? Okay.
Not really OG.
Okay.
But when you look up romance, this is always
Okay.
in the car. Hold on.
How long is it?
It was 24 episodes.
Oh, damn. Golden Time. Yeah, I've never heard of this. 2013? Oh, this isn't that old. I've never heard of this.
Yeah, ever since I started watching anime, 2015, this one's always been brought up.
Okay.
This and Your Lie in April. Like whenever niggas talk about romance,
What?
these two come up, right?
Next to Your Lie in April, this got talked about? That's crazy. Okay.
Well, for me, that's what I would see. I don't think it's as big as Your Lie, but
Oh, okay.
it would always come up when it comes to like the best and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been watching romance after Origairu.
Mm-hmm.
This one, 24 episodes, it was solid because it's in college, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little different. So I give it that. Plus, the 2 main characters actually get in a relationship by like episode 8. So most of the show is like them in a couple, right?
Yeah.
So that's a plus, right? Because you know how these romances be.
Yeah.
So that was cool, but I think leading up to them becoming a couple is way more interesting, and then like what happens in the second act, because the main guy has like amnesia, and the girl he liked back in the day is like in the same college as him,
Mm-hmm.
and he loved her, and then he caught amnesia, forgot about her, and like this new bitch. And that's like the dynamic. And then like the amnesia shit will get in the way, blah, blah, blah. But it was solid. It was pretty good. But it doesn't match up to like Origairu.
Okay.
But
Does it match up to even Your Lie in April?
I never watched Your Lie in April.
Oh, okay, okay.
Have you?
No.
I'll probably watch that one day. But yeah, these are one of the old ones that, you know how I always tell you, like, I was supposed to watch this like 10 years ago, but now I'm just getting to it now.
Yeah.
But so I'm happy I finished it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Probably like 6 out of 10.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. So I watched a ton of shit. A ton of stuff that I am excited to tell you about because I These are things that I would have loved for us both to watch, but I just didn't have the time or the chance before. Fuck. So I'm trying to. All right. So January do you remember? Do you write down like movies that I bring up from last episode, or you just write down the things?
No.
Okay.
Only things I've seen.
So I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Okay, pretty confident that January 15th was when we talked about that, because I asked you if you wanted to see Poor Things. I'm pretty sure after that. Yeah, I saw Poor Things. It's 10 out of 10. It's I haven't seen that many movies from last year, but it's my favorite movie of last year. Doesn't hold that much weight because I think I've seen maybe 10 movies from last year, but it was great. You will like it. I promise you'll enjoy it. It's great. Emma Stone in this movie had a Patrick Bateman level performance. She was bonkers in like the best way. Patrick Bateman, I don't know if I brought this up last time, but Patrick Bateman in a way where if they fumbled, her career would be over. Just done. Same way where if Christian Bale fumbled, his career would be over because it would be cringe and bad. It wasn't cringe and bad. It was cool and it was great. Willem Dafoe is in it. Mark Ruffalo is in it. The black guy from On the Count of Three is in it. He's good. He's good in it. And then there's some other actors that are not as recognizable to me, but I think mildly popular, that are also in it, that are also great. And it's funny. I would call it a comedy. It's pretty, and it's just good. I don't even really want to say anything about it or like describe it beyond just telling you to watch it, because you will watch it. Like, this is one of those like obligatory, you gotta see it type movies. So I'm not gonna discuss too much about that. Then I watched Heat. The fucking Al Pacino.
3 hours long.
It's
like 3 hours.
It is 3 hours, and I was so like disabled, and I was like just trying to pass the fucking time because there was like nothing I could do about anything. So I was explicitly picking movies that were like really long that I could watch, and Heat was perfect. It was 3 hours long, but it felt like it went by really fast. And you know, when I see Al Pacino and I see Robert De Niro, I associate that with like The Irishman and like, you know, Martin Scorsese movies. But this is directed by Michael Mann, so this is, you know, not going to be the same type of thing. But it's very clearly like trying to market itself like with those faces at least. So I'm like, all right, it's going to be a lot of talking, and it's going to be a lot of, you know, dialogue. But in spite of it being 3 hours, it was mostly action. It was mostly action, and it was mostly like them planning the shit. And it kind of took place. It took place in Miami, I think. I think it took place in Miami. It took place in like a modern city. It wasn't like old. It didn't take place like way back then. Movie came out in 1995, and it takes place in like the present day. Al Pacino is a cop. Robert De Niro is like a bank robber guy. And there's a bunch of people in the movie. Val Kilmer, Danny Trejo, the dude from Gattaca, the guy in the wheelchair, he's in it. And I was like, oh shit. When I was watching Gattaca, I'm like, hey, that's the guy. It took me like a while. When I was watching Heat, I'm like, who the fuck is this loser? Like, we got all these like A-list stars, and we got this random fuck. But now I watch Gattaca, and I'm like, oh shit, I like this guy now. So that was cool. And yeah, like there's good like there's not a lot of dialogue. I mean, there is dialogue in the movie, but it's whenever they're doing character development or they're doing like a good moment where they're just talking, even though there's not a lot of it and they don't focus too much on one character because there are so many characters, each scene is like good enough to where you're like, you still care about a character in a given moment if they die or if it's like them just like talking and having like a casual scene together, planning like the next heist, or Al Pacino like trying to find Robert De Niro and his crew. Like it's just fun to like see these characters like interact, even if it's for 1 or 2 scenes in this like 3-hour movie, and then the rest of it is just them planning heists and then doing the shootouts. And I love like real shootouts, like in the fucking street, actual guns, like shooting actual bullets, or at least it looks like they're shooting actual bullets because the things are flying out of the fucking gun, and like glass breaking and cars like smashing into each other. It's like one of the coolest like things I've seen. It reminded me so much of GTA 5. Like, I was watching this movie, I'm like, Robert De Niro's character is just Michael. It reminds me so much of Michael, but cooler and not like as annoying. There was like a Franklin type character. There was just like the black guy. It was just like Franklin. Like, Michael's like, I need you for the job. You here for the job? And Franklin's like, yeah, I got you, man. It's just like, okay. I don't even remember the dude's actual name. I just called him Franklin. And oh my god, and there was a dude, in the beginning of actually I don't know if in the beginning of GTA 5 when like that like third guy dies, it's like Michael, Trevor, and then like some random dude. There's like a dude that looks like that guy, and I'm like, okay, bro, like this is now like a homework movie for Manny if he wants to, like, this has to be like an inspiration for GTA 5. Like, it has to be. So you're probably gonna get enjoyment out of that. It's like GTA 5, probably minus the shit you don't like about GTA 5, and it just gets to the point. Gets to the really fun stuff. And Al Pacino is great. Robert De Niro is great in the movie. There are some good meme moments. Have you seen the meme, or like not the meme, but the GIF of Al Pacino like being like, "Don't waste my motherfucking time," as he's like walking out of the room? Some people like post that like in response to like, I don't know, Ubisoft, when it's like new Assassin's Creed coming out next week, and then someone will be in the replies, "Don't waste my motherfucking time." Yeah. There's another clip where Al Pacino's like, "'Cause she's got a great big ass," and he says that like mad fucking loud. I'm like, oh shit. Apparently he was on cocaine like half the time while he was doing the movie, which is funny. Yeah, not much else to say. 7 out of 10. I loved it. And there's a book, an audiobook for Heat 2. He did Michael Mann wrote like a whole book that is considered like a sequel to the movie. And the movie doesn't need a sequel based on how it ends, but I would love to read the book because that would be cool to see where things go, because you could continue it if you wanted to, and you will like the movie. It's 3 hours long. It didn't feel like 3 hours. If you want to pause it. You'll want to finish it, I think. I liked it. 7 out of 10. Good shit. Then I watched Silence of the Lambs. I rewatched it for the first time in like 10 years. And that shit's goated. I mean, you saw it, so I don't know how much there is to say about it.
I think you told me that last one.
I told you that? The last one? I think I've seen it before, and maybe we talked about it. Yeah, maybe I did. Maybe I did.
I don't remember. I thought you did.
Yeah. I don't have much to say this time, except that no, I think I called you like outside of the podcast, and I think I told you I was watching it, or that I did watch it. And then we talked about like the final shot, and we were like, "Isn't that final shot cool?" where he
Oh,
just
yeah,
walks
yeah,
away. Yeah, dude. The reason why that movie's so cool is because Hannibal Lecter won, and he was pulling the strings kind of the whole time, and he was right. And you just want to watch the movie, and in the same way that he's kind of like manipulating the main character and trying to like play with her like good intentions and her like kind-hearted soul, he's playing with your perspective on life and your perspective on the whole situation with Buffalo Bill and like the bad guy and the good guys, and at the end of the day, no matter, you know, who he is and what he's done, my nigga was right, and he got out. And he walked in that final shot, and he disappeared. And yeah, that's a good movie. What really struck me was that YMS gave it a 10. I'm like, Silence of the Lambs is a 10 for YMS, and now I understand. Now I get it. I gave it an 8. I have to, but it's a movie I'll gladly watch again. Like, it's one of those movies that I would have gladly like turned it on like right after and like watched the whole thing again, which explains why I liked it so much as a kid and I watched it so many times when I was younger, because it is captivating, it is engaging, even if you're too young to like even follow the plot. But yeah, shit was good. Did I tell you I rewatched The Batman?
No.
Okay. I rewatched The Batman because Cosmonauts video came out. Like, finally. Yeah, he finally was, like, talking about The Dark Knight and all the Batman movies. And then he finally talked about, like, in depth, like, what he liked about The Batman. And I'm like, okay, you've explained yourself very well. Now, and, like, as soon as I finished the video, I turned on The Batman. And I'm like, okay, I get it now. And I was actually, like, having a great time. My rating is not going to change. I didn't even finish it. I got like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, like 2 hours in, and then I stopped. But I I respect it a lot more now. Before I was like begrudgingly like, oh, 6, but now I'm like 6. Yeah. So The Batman, certified hood classic. I rewatched Dune because Dune's finally coming out. Dune Part 2. And this is another movie that this time, like the first time I watched it, I was like, to be honest, I think I said this already, but I didn't really watch it the first time. I fell asleep through most of it and missed a majority of the movie. This time I watched the whole thing from front to back. I could follow the story because I could just pause it and rewind any parts, and I watched it with captions, so I didn't miss anything. And the story, if you can follow it, it's cool as fuck. But the movie's still 3 hours. I still low-key don't care about the characters. I care about the story and what the characters have to do, but I don't care about, like, you know, if a character dies and then someone starts crying. I don't necessarily care about that. I care about like what that character's death means in the grand like political context of like the universe of Dune and what that means for the plot. And thankfully, the first 2 hours of the movie I feel like focuses on that, and then the second half I feel like focuses a lot on Timothée Chalamet's, like, he's the main character. It focuses on him kind of like walking around in the sand, like just continuing the story, and it stopped being about like the movie explaining the lore and telling me like all the context and all like the political intrigue, and then it kind of started being about just like setting up the next one, and I was like, okay. So I would say in this 3 hour movie, the first 2 hours were pretty goated, and then the last hour I'm like slogging through. But yeah. But I'm excited for the second one because the shit's gonna happen in the second one. Like, truly, like, not much like happens in the first one. The first one's engaging, but the first one I feel like is spending a lot of the time explaining things to you, and it's doing a good job at it, in my opinion. Like, for a movie to like be spending a majority of its runtime just telling you how things work while also kind of, I don't know, showing the characters and advancing some kind of plot, it's doing that pretty well for like 2 hours. And in the second one, we're going to get the payoff to like all that. So I'm actually really excited. I'm excited to watch it in IMAX. I didn't get to see the first one in IMAX. I'm going to try to see this one in IMAX. It's going to be fun. And the music's good. Denis Villeneuve is good. He truly is my boy. He really was cooking on that first one. He really was cooking. That is also still a 6 out of 10 though. It's still a 6. And similar to the Batman, I'm not going to rewatch the entire thing ever from front to back again. I don't think I'd ever do that again. Then I rewatched John Wick 3. But before I talk about that, I also want to say that I watched John Wick 4, finally.
You never watched it?
No, I never watched it. No.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I knew that, spoiler alert for listeners, but I knew that he died at the end. Because I think you told me. I think I was like, you have to spoil me if I'm going to give a fuck. Or someone told me, but I didn't know Donnie Yen was in it until someone told me about that. I didn't know that he died at the end until someone told me about that. And a lot of people were like, this is the best one. And when I saw like the Hotline Miami, like top down, like, you know, fire dragon gun thing, like where the camera's like on the top of the building and you can see him like shooting people like through walls, I was like, all right, I got to give this movie a chance. It was also 3 hours long. I was like, ugh. The fight scenes were awesome in this one. The fight scenes were fucking... Yes, they were fucking sick. I think every single one of them was great. The third one, I still feel this way about the third one. The third one is... The selling point at the end of the second one was that he's excommunicado. Do you remember the end of the second one when the dude like flips the phone? He's like, John Wick, you got 1 hour. He like turns around and every nigga in the park that you thought was a normal nigga pulls out their phone and it's like, oh, you're about to be a $14 million bounty? You better start running, nigga. And he just starts running and everyone in the park is just like there looking at him. I'm like, oh my God, he's not going to have any chance to breathe. I didn't feel like when the third one came out, they really delivered on that. I wanted him to be getting jumped by like 2 or 3 groups like at a time. He was getting jumped by like 2 or 3 people at a time. I'm like, this is lame. Like this is whatever. And I felt like, the syndicate was not as scary in that one. They really fucked up when it came to like paying off like how scary they could be. Like that syndicate lady in the third one, when she's going around like punishing everybody that helped John Wick, she's not like, do you remember when the ballerina lady at like his school or whatever, well, the person who is part of the syndicate, the high table, and was punishing the people that helped John Wick, she wasn't really punishing them. She really wasn't. She was like doing stuff that she was injuring them in ways that they could heal and just be fine after. I'm like, this is so lame. And then when John Wick went to the Elder, he cut off his finger. And I still think it just looked weird after that. I think John Wick without the finger in the third movie, after that, I just couldn't stop looking at his hand. And in that final fight scene, it looks like he's wearing a prosthetic hand. It doesn't look like his real hand. And I'm just like, is this fight scene limited in choreography because he can't use his hand? And I don't know. I didn't like the fight scenes as much. I thought they didn't really deliver on making it feel like John Wick was getting jumped at every corner, like the world. I thought it was going to be John Wick versus the world, like literally. I wanted it to feel like that. And in John Wick 4, they kind of did that. They did, like in that final scene with like the cars and the black woman's on the radio and she's like, all right, everybody, John Wick's on 44th Street. And he literally like turns this way, 12 niggas, and it's like, okay. It turns this way, 12 niggas, is like, oh my god. And then he goes to the cul-de-sac with like all the cars and all that shit. And I was like, oh my god, like that scene was so fun. And it was like an hour long. It lasted a long time. But it was good. And Donnie Yen was great. All the stuff with like the blind guy was cool.
Yeah, that shit was fun.
Yeah. And when like, you know, in the third movie when he's fighting like those armored goons, I think it's like Sentinel goons, Sentinel, the fuck, high table goons, like at the end where they like have body armor and guns. I felt like they upped the ante in this one. You know, we have high table people that have the same body armor suits that John Wick has, where they're kind of impervious to bullets. So it's really cool. It feels like you're fighting like armored bad guys, you know? So the fight scenes in Japan in the beginning were cool. Just all the fights were great. They kind of fixed the story and made it feel less tedious and made it feel like it mattered more. And that like John Wick, you know, actually the table was actually fucking with him in a way that was like annoying, and he actually stood a chance against the table, and it wasn't like contrived and stupid and nonsense. I liked the black guy, like Mr. Nobody. He was cool. I thought he was dope. I like what they did with the dog. One thing about I didn't like any of the fight scene in the castle with the dog in the third one. It was like very lazy. I didn't feel like they did a lot creatively with it. They did cool shit with the dog in this one. The dog was like that part where he like jumps on the car and then a car slams into the dog and the dog like just tanks that shit and just gets up. I'm like, oh fuck, like this movie's raw, bro. This movie's raw. Yeah. My rating is ultimately a 5. I still like the first and second one more, but I respect the existence of this one. Like, I think the third one's like genuinely ass, but this one I respect. Also, the reason why I give it a 5 is because Keanu, like, truly his acting like sucks in this one. He's fine in the other ones, even the third one. His acting is like terrible in the fourth one. So every single time they're talking, I'm just like, oh, like the dialogue's fine, but every single time they're talking, he is the one ruining the scene. Not anybody else, just him. So, yeah. That's how I feel about that. And yeah. That's, and you know they're making a fifth one, right? Even though he died, I think.
I don't think he like died.
Well, now he didn't, because now they're making a fifth one.
Nah, even when I watched it, I don't think it was like
you didn't feel
I
that
don't think
way?
it was like it felt like Cowboy Bebop.
They showed his grave. They showed his fucking grave.
Bro, come on. In these movies, if a nigga's not getting shot in the face.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. I'm fascinated how they're going to justify that. How they're going to explain that. We'll see.
The writers want a way to do it, they'll do it.
Yeah.
If Hollywood wants more money off Keanu Reeves, they'll do it.
They don't need to make John Wick movies to sell people on like action stuff. The story is clearly not the main point anymore. Just make a movie on anybody. And
yeah, but it's harder because like John Wick is like an established guy.
I think
you know how like Keanu Reeves is loved. Everyone's just gonna watch this because
yeah, I guess yeah.
They make an action movie about me.
I think personally, I don't know. If you have fight scenes that are that good, I think you can sell people on any celebrity, anybody. I don't know if you even need star power. I mean, maybe you do to need it to be as expensive as that, but
no, I don't know. And like today's, I don't know. I feel like a lot of movies is like bomb today. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. And I think there's a reason why people still see the John Wick movies, because they trust that the fights are going to be good. Like, are people seeing it for Keanu? Or are they seeing... So. Yeah. I mean, I
watched it.
I also watched it for him. But I'd watch anything by this Chad Stahelski guy. That's what I'm saying. Like, if Keanu was not in it, if, you know, Lance Reddick wasn't in it, I'd watch it for anybody that can do good fight scenes. So...
Well, I don't think that's most people.
Well, Keanu's gonna like fucking die doing one of these goddamn stunts, and then everyone's gonna regret it. This was the movie where it looked like this like might be his last one. I'm like, oh, I don't know if he's got much steam left. He's getting old. But we'll see. We'll see how much else he can do. They're already doing a spin-off with Ana de Armas as like she's a ballerina, but it's not. I don't think it's directed by. I don't know who it's directed by. I don't know who's gonna do the action. I hope it has to be good. If it's not good, then who cares?
Right.
But yeah, 5 out of 10 for John Wick 4. 1 and 2 are 7 out of 10. I gotta rewatch 1 and 2. I think I'll still like them. Like them a lot. And 3 is a 4. 3 is a 4 out of 10. 3 sucks. 3 feels like it's 3 hours long, even though 4 is 3 hours long.
Right.
3 is so goddamn boring. But one thing I noticed about 3, do you know the movie The Raid? You haven't seen it yet, but we're going to watch those movies one day. The Raid are like very popular action movies for having like great fight scenes. And it's an Indonesian movie, so it's a lot of foreign people. They don't even speak English in the movie, and the Indonesian like fighters from that movie fight John Wick at the end of John Wick 3, and then like you know they're like fanboys of him. So like there's a part where they like bring him to the ground, and then they're like, "It's an honor, Mr. Wick," and then they like help him up, and I'm like, "Oh shit, that's the guy from The Raid," and I thought that was so fucking cool. I didn't notice that the first time.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that was awesome. And then Donnie Yen is also like a great guest character. Like Donnie Yen's great. But yeah, let me pause this. All right. So there was that. Sorry, I'm kind of going. I watched a lot of shit, Manny. I apologize. I watched Lawrence of Arabia. It was 4. That's a long one. It's like 4 hours long, dude. And it's about a British soldier. I don't fully know how to explain the plot because it's a little complicated, but it's about a British soldier that kind of enters like the Arab space and to try and the different factions of like the Arab nation, like the Turks and this tribe and that tribe. And it's just this like one white British guy that tries to be positive and thoughtful and, you know, commune all these people together with like love and peace. And it's got a lot of action and it's got like a lot of large scale things in it. It's a very like spectacle movie in some sense, at least with like how many people can be on screen. It reminded me of Barry Lyndon. I'm like, wow, this is like Barry Lyndon with like, I'm looking at 100 niggas on the screen right now. Like, this is awesome. And that's kind of what the story's about. And it kind of feels like an anime. Like, you know, I paused it several times. I did not watch it in one sitting. As I got closer to the end, when I got to like the last half hour, I kind of lost track of what was going on. I didn't understand fully the ending, and when the credits rolled, I'm like, that's it? So I didn't really like the ending, but I'm happy that I watched the movie. I think the multiple posters that it has are fire as fuck, especially the one where he is like, where it's like a shadow and he's wearing like the turban over it. And I think it's just like a fire ass image of like the dude like wearing the, not just the cover, but just like him actually wearing the shit is it goes so hard, like with his character too. It reminded me of Indiana Jones because I think Indiana Jones does that at one point. It feels like Indiana Jones in some sense. There's also a character named Ollie, and I like that. And it was also just kind of like, you know, Middle Eastern movie. A white guy entering like a Middle Eastern space, which I feel like I can relate to that on both sides of the fence in weird ways, you know. American, Middle Eastern, but I feel like I relate more to the American character than the Middle Eastern character in spite of that. So shit was cool. Shit was I connected with it. I gave it a 6 out of 10, but I'm gonna watch it again. I will 100% watch it again, and there were moments that I connected with, and I'm very happy that I watched it. And yeah, that's what I have to say about that. Then I watched Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, the second one, which is the one that has Davy Jones, which is like the fucking yeah. You're the SpongeBob guy. And yeah, it had Davy Jones, it had SpongeBob Man. And dude, this movie kind of goes hard. I was like, after watching the first Pirates of the Caribbean, I'm like, why the fuck do people like Pirates of the Caribbean? This movie sucks. The first one, Curse of the Black Pearl, has like Blackbeard as like the bad guy, and it's just ass. Like, I really don't like that movie. It's way too long. It's kind of stupid, and it's just boring. This one was fucking sick. You gotta watch this movie. It's got some great action. It's got like a nice story, and it feels like a cool pirate swashbuckling adventure. Johnny Depp is awesome in this movie. The problem with it is that it is a sequel to the first one, and you might be a little lost if you didn't watch the first one. And even as someone who hates the first one, every single time I was forced to remember the first one, I was like, I wish you would just like, I wish this would be one of those movies where like you know how Avengers Infinity War forgets like Avengers 2? Like, I wish this was like that. It's not. It keeps referencing the first one all the way up until the end. And I watched it, and it's 3 hours long. It's a long ass movie, but it was good. It was good. It being that long kind of made me like bring the rating down. I gave it a 5 out of 10, but I gave the last one a 4. But it was fun, and I'm very glad I watched it. And it you know, it was also like worth my time in spite of it being 3 hours. Yeah, 5 out of 10. That I can see being classic, because that movie was captivating. And yeah, and mind you, I'm skipping some that are like not worth talking about. I watched a lot of shit because I had nothing to do and I didn't have a job. There's a movie called May December on Netflix. It's a 9 out of 10. This might be the next. This might be my favorite movie of last year. I don't know if this is the best movie of last year. I think I really like this movie. This and Poor Things are like my top 2. May December. It reminded me a lot of Perfect Blue. I'm like, this is like today's Perfect Blue. It reminded me so much of that. Just because of it has Natalie Portman in it, you know, the literal, oh my god, bro, Black Swan. And she's an actress. She's literally an actress that's playing the other female character, like trying to play her in like a biopic. So she's visiting this woman's house to like talk to her and try to like get an understanding for like who she is and her personality. It's literally Perfect Blue. It's literally Perfect Blue.
Sounds like Millennium Actress.
The thing about this movie that I'm comparing to Perfect Blue is like the two characters bouncing off of each other that are like similar enough to where their personalities like start to blend and you're like, which one's the real me, bro?
Right.
So it's more like that than Millennium Actress. Like the experience of this movie I think is definitely more reflective of like a Perfect Blue. And the subject matter is quite taboo in the same way that Perfect Blue is, but a lot of people, I think, don't like this movie because of what it's about. And the reason why you might have not heard anyone talk about it is because it's a touchy subject. And I think a lot of people just don't want to...
What's the subject?
One of the characters has an affair with a 7th grader. And then she gets pregnant with the 7th grader's child and goes to jail. And then when she gets out of jail, she gives birth to the child. And then when the 7th grader is old enough, he and her marry, however old she is at this point. And then the movie takes place when the 7th grader is now 35. The kid that they had is all grown up. And she like did her time and she's in jail. And Natalie Portman's character wants to make a biopic on her, like post the whole situation. And I think it's fucking crazy. I did not know what the movie was about when I watched it. I just like clicked on it because it was nominated for an Oscar. One Oscar. And I'm like, this could be nominated for so many things. But the subject matter is like a turnoff already for so many people. So I can understand if you don't want to watch it, but I think it's pretty fucking great. So that's May, December. And then I watched 20 Days in Mariupol. Mariupol is the city in Ukraine that Russia is like going crazy over. And 20 Days in Mariupol is just a documentary of a guy that stayed there and like recorded everything like while it was happening. You get to see like tanks like literally shooting at like hospitals. You get to see people like people's homes like getting destroyed, and people like that are locked in there and can't leave. People dying from injuries from getting shot by like Russian soldiers and stuff. It's pretty scary. It's pretty sad. Take your time. We're back. Took like an hour-long break. But I ended off where I think we were talking about John Wick, and I think I gave my ratings on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched some stuff. There's a movie on Netflix called Orion and the Dark. It's an animated kids movie from DreamWorks, written by Charlie Kaufman, Synecdoche boy. And it felt like Synecdoche for kids. And it was great. And I gave it a 9 out of 10. And it's only an hour and 20 minutes. And it's cute. And it's genuinely funny. It made me laugh out loud. There were a lot of things about it. Oh, fuck. I had a cool thing in my brain where I was like, oh, man, I forgot exactly what. But there was a part I was like, it's this movie meets Synecdoche meets Attack on Titan. And I forgot what the first thing it was that I made that connection with. But yeah, it's a movie that like I intend on rewatching many times. Hopefully I can rewatch it soon. But glad my boy Charlie is getting paid. I was talking about 20 Days in Mariupol, about the Ukraine thing. Yeah. Bro, and on Friday, like, there was another, like, Russia crazy thing that happened. I don't even know if you like fully know. I think basically Russia like assassinated like someone that was trying to like a dude that was like seemed very politically in service of like making Russia great again, not in like that kind of way, not in like a cringe way, but in like a real like like Putin is wrong and I'm gonna try to make things better. Because of Russia, like a lot of people in Russia don't even know about the Ukraine stuff because of like fake media and stuff. And there's a guy, his name was Navalny, and there's a movie on him on HBO Max, and the movie on HBO Max basically discusses that he was like just a political activist, and they don't have like a normal democracy in Russia, like. Putin has been there kind of the whole time, and Navalny has just been like a political activist, like starting riots and doing speeches like to the public and making YouTube videos just about what he would do to be better and like what Putin does that's wrong and blah 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 blah. And the documentary is about how Putin like tried to have him assassinated. And it's like undeniably like 100% like a fact. Like when you watch the documentary, like there's no debate that it was like a lie or anything. And then at the end, they arrest Navalny over fraud, like nothing, like just bullshit, just to like get him arrested. And then on Friday he died in prison. And they didn't even make up an excuse. It's like, oh my God, you're not even going to make up an excuse? He wasn't old. He was a very young guy. So they literally just like, he died. How? He died. It's just like, oh my God. So very like, I did not think that in our modern world, someone could get assassinated so unapologetically by the world leader, and like nobody, like, I think people care because it happened like a week ago, but I don't watch the news. But I didn't think it would be that easy for like anybody in the world to do that, and just to do that. Like I don't think people are rioting in Russia right now, so that's very sad. And that's very upsetting. Yeah. So. That movie's probably going to win the Oscar, 20 Days in Mariupol, because it's another Ukraine movie. I watched a movie called Koyani Skatsi, and it's a movie with no dialogue, and it's just kind of a movie that has images of like nature. And I think I talked about a movie like this so similar on the last episode.
Yeah.
It's like that, but better. It's basically just that movie, but better. So, yeah. Like I'd give it like a 10. Like this is one of my favorite movies I've ever seen. And someone recreated this weird ass movie in GTA 5 apparently. Like they like shot for shot like did the same movie in Grand Theft Auto, which is funny. But yeah. I watched Prisoners finally for the first time. That movie was good. The movie's really good. The ending pissed me off. I'm like, why is it open-ended? Just show me whether he finds him or not. I don't know. Maybe on a second watch, maybe there's meaning to it being open-ended. Maybe because there's a lot of depth that I think is there that goes beyond just like the fun, suspenseful like story. So maybe there's a little bit more meaning to like having an open-ended ending. But I watched it and I'm like, why the fuck can't you tell me like whether he finds him or not? So that kind of pissed me off at the very end. But I really enjoyed it. It met the expectations I had going into it. Very, very good. Yeah, shit was good. I give it a 7, but I'm gonna watch it again and it could be an 8. Have you heard of this movie called The Holdovers? It's like a Oscar nominee recently. Yeah, it's just like a Christmas movie about a teacher and a student and a lunch lady staying at the college like through Christmas and hating each other, but then like growing to love each other like past that. Then I watched a documentary called The Day After Trinity. This is the last thing. The Day After Trinity is a documentary on Oppenheimer and the dudes, you know, involved with the Manhattan Project. And it has all of the dudes in it. Oppenheimer's brother, the general, Matt Damon guy, the scientist there. I don't think Robert Downey Jr.'s character is there, but a lot of the characters are there. And I think this is after Oppenheimer passed away. And this movie came out in 1981. And I'm so bad when it comes to history. I don't even know exactly like the time frame of like the Oppenheimer events. But do you know? Tell me.
1945.
1945. Okay. So all these guys are still alive, but they're like super old now. And this documentary is only 89 minutes. And it just kind of explains the whole situation, why they were making the bomb, why they continued to make... this is a question that I asked like when we were talking about it. I'm like, why'd they keep making the bomb after the war ended? Like, I didn't... Like, why'd they even bother? They explain that. They explain that in the movie. And it's like, oh, okay, that actually makes sense. They, to me, did a better job at explaining why someone would even start making a bomb, why someone like Oppenheimer would be enthusiastic to start doing it. Because I'm like, why would you make a bomb? That's a stupid idea. That's a Pandora's box. Why would you do that? And the documentary kind of framed it better. It was like, hey, nigga, like, we didn't really have a choice. Like, we were losing at, you know? And I was like, okay. Like that makes sense. And I feel like they, you know, and you're hearing this from the mouths of the people that were doing it. So it brings even more context to it. And you also get like an after the fact perspective from people after it blew up, like Hiroshima and what's the other place? Nagasaki. Yes. Yeah. And you know, you get to see, I remember in the movie, like, you don't get to see the general be sad or depressed about that. In Oppenheimer, you don't get to see that. And they act as if like, you know, like he doesn't really give a shit. But in here, he was like, I was very depressed and I was very upset and like sad. And then I appreciated what I wanted out of the movie in terms of just learning the scope of this scenario and understanding the context and the full breadth and weight of Oppenheimer saying like the famous line, the death something. You know, it's funny because Oppenheimer, the movie Oppenheimer starts with that line while this movie ends with that line. And this movie is like an educational telling you like why this stuff happened, what's going on, and still kind of communicating like the weight of how this one man you know, kind of changed the landscape of the world for better, like with mixed intentions, part selfishness, part, you know, actually being considerate about the world at large, and just like struggling with that. Like it actually made sense. Like I felt like I really understood like what is interesting about the Oppenheimer story after watching the movie, after watching The Day After Trinity. So I was like, okay, now let me give Oppenheimer another chance. And when I'm watching Oppenheimer, a lot of it is just making so much more sense to me. And I'm like, okay, I'm grasping this a lot more, and I'm understanding this a lot more. But I also knew everything that was going to happen, and I had like a full context of, you know, the story and stuff. And as I'm watching it, I kind of felt like it wasn't saying things like different as it was going along. I think I don't know how far I got, but because I was watching it on Friday, and then my week from then on was super hectic and super crazy, so I didn't get to finish it. but I don't know if I will, because I don't know if the 3 hours, in the same way that I felt like, what did the movie gain from being 3 hours long? Kind of talking about the weight of like what this man went through and all the, turmoil that's going on in his head, trying to kind of balance opening Pandora's box and like saving his country while simultaneously trying to push like physics or whatever. It was just it's something that I felt like could be delivered and articulated in an hour and a half, like the documentary did. And the movie just takes 3 hours because it's like, but there's so much to talk about and there's so much to cover. It's like, you don't need to talk about all this stuff. Like, all this stuff is interesting, but not in one sitting. And I was pausing the movie like every 10 minutes, and I was kind of enjoying like pausing it, taking like a long break, and then playing it, and just kind of watching it in like little chunks. And I'm like, if I have to do this, then maybe I shouldn't even watch the movie, and maybe my rating's like not even going to change at this point. So I don't think I feel any stronger about Oppenheimer. I think no, it's kind of like the Batman, where I'm like, okay, I get it now, but the score's not changing. Like, it's still like a 5 out of 10. I'm still iffy on it. And just before I gave it a 5 because I was like, I don't know. But this time I think I give it a 5, and I'm like, yeah, I think I'm just like, I think after watching that documentary, like, that's the experience that's my Oppenheimer. Like, that's the movie that I would recommend people. But yeah, but hopefully Cillian gets the Oscar, because he is good. He is actually really good in it.
Right.
He does kind of deserve it. And there are scenes that go incredibly hard, even if I don't want to like sit down and like watch the whole movie. The writing is like, it's so cool. It really is in certain, in kind of the whole thing. It's just like, it's just a lot of the same, and it just kind of feels like I'm not getting much new the whole time. But that's just me, I guess. Yeah. Memento is still my favorite Nolan. But I got Peacock, and I was watching it on Peacock, and I think I'm gonna watch Inception again, because I haven't seen Inception. Well, I think we talked about this before. Like, I basically haven't seen it. Like, so I'm excited to watch Inception. I've never seen Dunkirk. I've never seen Interstellar. I'm going to try to bang out the rest of the Nolans. I think that's it. Oh, and The Prestige. I have no interest in The Prestige, but I also have to rewatch Tenet. I'm excited to rewatch Tenet with subtitles, because my first experience, I missed like so many things in that movie. There was one. Have you seen Tenet?
No.
Oh, I'd love to watch Tenet with you. I'd love to talk about it. There's one conversation in that movie where I'm like, okay, don't miss what they're saying, and I missed everything, and I'm like, no. And it genuinely fucked up the rest of the movie. I'm like, bro, I have no idea what's going on. But the action in Tenet was fun. And it was cool, even if I didn't understand what was happening. Yeah. But that's the dilly and dally, man. That's the dilly and dally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Baby. I'm going to take this off. Ah. Good boy. Biscuit, you're so loud with your chain. So I took off his chain so that he doesn't make a lot of noise. All right. That's the end of my super long section. Now, let me know. Oh, and I guess I've also been watching a lot of Tekken 8 gameplay and been super depressed that my fucking hands don't work and I can't play video games. And I'm just I'm keeping an eye on the gaming stuff. I saw the Elden Ring trailer. As someone who didn't play Elden Ring, I'm assuming they were like new weapons in it, because I was like, what? And like,
Yeah.
I don't know if there were new locations, but
Yeah, the whole location is different.
Oh, okay.
Everything is new.
Gotcha.
Man, I can't wait.
How long is it gonna be?
Uh,
We'll see. We'll see.
I think it's gonna be long though.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of.
Hopefully, because there's a lot of lore.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, the DLC or the expansion is gonna give a lot of lore, a lot of like questions from the original game.
Like payoff, like answers, or
I
like.
think so. I hope so.
That would be dope. That would be dope.
Can't wait.
Shout out to
Like
George R.R. Martin for not wasting his time on that fucking 6 Game of Thrones book and cooking some new fire.
Yeah, he definitely could.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the biggest like Elden Ring YouTubers, he just like released like a 40-minute long like video on the trailer. And I watched that.
This weapon in this 2-second shot is the crossbow of Damocles.
Yeah. I need all that.
The crossbow of Damocles from the 4th fight against the king of Damascus. I'm sorry,
dog.
I'm coughing so much.
Yeah.
All right. Movie time. Movie.
Which one you want to go first?
We only have Angel's Egg and Gattaca, right? We don't have anything else.
Did you watch Machima?
Oh, I've seen it before, so I didn't rewatch it. But yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah, you talk about that.
What do you think? I liked this movie when I saw it ages ago, and I'm pretty confident I'd still like it if I watched it again.
I think the movie's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think like the guy, like the engineer guy, the glasses guy.
I think that's. Oh, what's the fucking actor's name? Never mind. Keep going.
I think that guy. I think he acted so well because he's such a dickhead.
Yeah, Oscar
like, start to
Isaac.
finish,
Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, he's such a dickhead. He was my favorite part of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like every time he's talking, I'm like, shut up.
He's so funny. I'll never forget the dance scene. I thought the dance scene was so funny and so cool. Where he's like, "Hey, yo, check this shit out in New York."
Yeah, that seems cool.
Mm-hmm.
No, but he, the movie's really cool because you don't really see that twist coming. You think it's gonna be like the grand escape from the mansion.
Mm-hmm.
But then like the movie kind of like flips on its head, and then there's like another flip because then like the MC thinks he's an AI too. And when he was doing that, I was like, no. Because I was thinking like, because I like before that scene came up, I was like, yo, what if he's AI too? What if he's all in this like AI testing AI? And I was like. Because I was thinking about that before the scene came up, and then when he was like looking in the mirror, and he was like, "Oh my god!" Because then I was like, the movie, like I feel like I don't know, because even I was thinking like maybe the movie would have been cooler if he was AI, but the movie itself was cool regardless,
Yeah.
But I was thinking about like if he himself is AI, like a different path the movie could have took, which would have been cool either way. But yeah, like the first half of the movie, I wouldn't even say first half. I'll say like the first quarter, first third. I was like, asking myself, okay, where's this going?
In the first third, does he meet the robot girl? Does he meet?
Yeah, like he probably does like the first test.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't know anything about the movie, so I was thinking it was kind of just like. I was thinking this movie was kind of like Gattaca, like a dystopian future type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like normal.
It was very small scale.
Yeah, small scale, modern.
And it is a normal AI kind of plot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
seeing the pictures, I thought it was like a futuristic thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought the girl was like the main character. That's what I thought going in.
Okay.
So, the first third or first quarter, I'm like trying to figure out where the movie's going, what's going
That's
on.
funny. When I looked at the poster for Gattaca, I thought it was gonna be like Ex Machina. I thought it was gonna be like low key, like in one room or something.
Oh really? Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the story. It was very, even though it's small scale, I thought it was, for its runtime, it's a short movie.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah.
And that, the whole like, the movie's kind of like eerie. It's scary because it's like, because you don't really know what's going on or what he's testing. And I'm just call him Isaac. Isaac was like, he was so weird, like, because when they would talk, I would lock in and like be hyper focused, and he would just be like, "Nah, fuck all that shit, fuck all that engineer shit. How do you feel?"
Yeah.
And that's when I started thinking about like, is he AI too? Like, not Isaac, MC,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really like the dialogue, the plot, and like how like everything flipped.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I think the movie is what, 2 hours? Or it might be less than that.
Not sure.
But yeah, it was short, sweet. It's 1 hour 50.
Yeah.
But I think it does a lot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's just, I think when you got AI stuff, even if it's something that small scale, it's a done deal. It's like a dub. Like as long as you don't fumble it or like do anything like insanely.
What about Vivi?
No. Because Vivi's an anime that's focused more on like the theatrics of things than about like the human aspect.
Yeah. I was telling my boy the other day, I was like, bro, Vivi's mid. He was like, what? Vivi's mid? And I was like, bro, I told him what you said to me. I was like, just compare Vivi to any other like AI thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like bottom barrel.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he came back the next day. I was like, yeah, you're right. But yeah. Ex Machina. It was really solid. The scene where if you're really like, you're going for the girl and you're like, yeah, you gotta get her out, bro. Blah blah. But then when Isaac, he puts the battery powered camera in the room, and he's like looking at he's showing the MC the footage, and he's like, yeah, you guys are gonna turn off the lights. You're gonna go on my computer and gonna like hack out and figure a way out. Yeah, bro, you're gonna do that, huh? And he was like telling like this AI was like trying to find a way out and just using you. And then even at the time, you're like, no way, right? Because that's how I was feeling. I was like, there's no way. I thought there was something real there, and he was like, yeah, he's just gonna use you. Bro.
Yeah.
And then she does what she does.
Mm-hmm.
And he like, and I was like, fuck. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Yeah.
But
go
I
ahead.
think it makes it very interesting though, the way it ended. But still, it's like, you couldn't cut my man some slack.
I know.
But
she's been locked in
AI.
there. She's AI, and if she really is human, or if she is like conscious fully and not like robotic in any way, she's gonna want to go, and she's not gonna give a fuck about some random ass nigga that like pulls up, So, it makes sense. Yeah. And I remember as a kid, I don't like to pretend like I recollect like super specifically about these things, but I remember not being as surprised by the ending. I don't think I got spoiled. I might have, but I don't think I did. I think I watched it and I was like, oh, that's it. Because I remember thinking to myself, I think this movie came out in like 2013. So I think I was really young when I watched it. So I wasn't even getting the full breadth. Like everything you're saying, I wasn't even like thinking about it on that like high level. But when I see a robot that is like a human robot, I was kind of treating that character fully human. Like I did not perceive them as like a not, an entity that lacked like the desires of like a human being. And I thought to myself, like, I'd try to get out of there if I was her. and like, and then that's just what she did at the end. And it was as if it was like a subversive thing. And I'm like, oh, was I supposed to be feeling a different thing throughout this? And I remember feeling that way when I was younger. And I also remember the only reason I watched a movie like this when I was younger was because IGN had this in their top 9 movies of 2013. And there was like Kingsman, the Lego movie, Ex Machina. And this was like the only like weird artsy movie in that. And I'm like, the fuck? And that's why I watched it.
Yeah, I think I was led because of the whole test. I was like, because you don't know like Isaac's true intentions, and you're like, when I think of AI and like humans and like tests, the first thing I think of is like, and he's talking about like how do you feel when you talk to her? Like he's trying to make her like human as possible, like un-AI her. So that's what I'm thinking, and I'm keeping that in the back of my mind. And when she's like faking like the relationship with the MC, it's like, from my perspective, is like she's doing that, but she's also like very like human. So like even though she wants to escape, she's probably gonna help the MC and not fuck him over, because like she's like very human, like, but she's not even like remotely like human, because she's like that. The whole like
she's like above that.
I want to say remotely human, but the whole like he programmed her to just like escape by any means, and like show him like and like I feel like the human thing was to not trap the guy. He didn't do anything. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it was kind of weird, like thinking like, for me, like this is like AI trying to be as human as possible, but then it's complete opposite. She's not human at all. Like she just acted according to her program. So
she was programmed to escape. Like that's why she escaped. Oh
yeah.
Oh,
she programmed her to escape.
Oh,
and to use like this human as a means to escape, no matter what.
Did she kill him? The Oscar Isaac?
No.
She killed the glasses guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got to rewatch it. I feel like I'll have a completely new experience on rewatch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She killed that guy, trapped the MC, and just dip. And the movie ended.
And that's it.
It was interesting. It was interesting.
Yeah. Every AI movie that I watched after this, I did compare to this movie. There's a show called Westworld on HBO that's like similar, and there's a part where like the AI people go into the real world, and I'm like, this is just like fucking Ex Machina. It's a ripoff. When it probably happened like even before then, but yeah.
The solid movie. I give it a 7.
Yeah, I'd probably give it at least
I'd
probably give it at least a 7 as well, if I were to rewatch it. And I will. This guy I think it's directed by Alex Garland, and I believe he has 2 other movies that he directed. Annihilation, which I think is a little bit more sci-fi, and then a movie called Men, which came out recently. That has very mixed reviews, and I felt very mixed when I watched it. I was very like, the entire time I'm like, really? This is it? This is all you have to say with this concept? And then the ending happened, and I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. And then I kind of liked the movie based on the ending, but I was kind of annoyed by it the whole time. So I will watch it again one day. But I've heard a question go around where it's like, if a movie changed its name, would you like it more? Like if they just changed the name, would your opinion on the movie change? And the movie Men, I was like, that might be one of those movies. I mean, depending on how I feel on the second watch. But yeah, I was thinking like, maybe if the movie just wasn't called Men, maybe I wouldn't feel this way. But But yeah, I'd recommend checking that one out because that one's crazy. That's probably like his. I mean, I haven't seen Annihilation, but that's probably like the weirdest, most ambitious one. Sorry. Yeah. All right. Give me 1 second. I gotta do this. All right.
What do you want to talk first?
Angel's Egg. Angel's Egg. I watched it once, and when I watched Jinro, which I think is the only, we haven't talked about Ghost of the Shell. So I think that was the only Mamoru Oshii joint that we've talked about before. So a movie kind of similar in, tone and pacing to this. I watched that twice, and I made sure that the second time I watched it, I was in like the right mood for it. In the right like
for Jinro?
Yeah, for Jinro. Because these movies are a vibe, and you got to be ready for them. And Angel's Egg, I was so scared that I was gonna watch this movie and like it was gonna be so vague, even more obtuse than like anything like I've ever seen, and it was gonna be so complicated, and it kind of wasn't. This movie was a lot more direct than I was expecting it to be. I mean, there's still some things I'm not gonna act like I fully understand the movie, but the movie does kind of explain the universe and like what happened, kind of, and I feel like figuratively, which is what the movie's trying to be. It's just kind of trying to be this figurative, cool visual experience. You're not supposed to think about it too literally. I think it's figuratively like kind of communicative to what the point is. But I watched it a week ago after I had like a difficult week, and I didn't get to watch it a second time. So I actually was thinking of talking about this like at the beginning of everything, because I can't even take notes like on my phone, so I didn't have too much to say. But I did like what I watched. There were parts of this that were slow to a point that even I was like, I watched it on YouTube. There was like a YouTube upload. There's a lot of YouTube uploads of this movie. And because I watched it on like my iPad, there's a feature on YouTube where you can just like tap the screen and it goes to like 2 times speed. During that part where they're like sitting at the bed and like it's just like one shot for what feels like almost like a minute or like over a minute, I did like 2 times speed that shit. I was like, okay, all right, let's go. But I will watch this again. It was cool, and it was captivating, and it wasn't that boring. It wasn't that like, it was only an hour and 11 minutes, and I'd say that maybe like I was bored for like 10 of those minutes. So
yeah, I think if this movie was any longer, it would be an issue.
If it was any longer, it would have to be like Jinro. It would have to have like a real like plot. Yeah.
It's funny. I don't remember Jinro at all.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But
it's like, it's easy to forget these movies if you just like watch them, like I don't know, once, and like you feel like confused or lost the whole time.
Yeah, I think with this one, I think I got like the general gist.
Me too.
It's very interesting. I mean, the main thing is like the Noah's Ark thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and that ties in with the ending too. Fucking, I think the white-haired boy, which people say is like Jesus Christ, which I find interesting, right? He was explaining the story of like Noah's Ark, right? And in the story, like the bird, or Noah like sends a bird to see if like the world is finished flooding,
right?
So they can go back.
And they're looking at a dead bird while they're telling that story or something.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because Noah got 2 of every animal.
Mm-hmm. I
think that's the other bird that stayed, and the bird never came back. So this is kind of where the world is right now in Angel's Egg. And I think that's the whole thing with the egg, with the bird, I don't know if it's like the bird is going to like save them or I don't know. But I know that's kind of like where the world is, because even at the end, when the camera zooms out, it's like an overturned ship, right? You know
Oh,
what I'm
is
talking
that
about?
what it was? I thought it was like a piece of land. I didn't even like I.
It looked like a ship overturned to
Oh,
me.
okay, okay.
Yeah, I saw some other people say that as well. Um, so when I saw that, that kind of like confirmed like that's the
Mm.
whole thing. But of course, there's still like a lot of imagery in the movie that's kind of hard for me to like pinpoint. I bet if someone's really like Christian, I bet like a Christian can like really take more. Aren't you Christian?
No,
Like a
no,
devoted Christian? Okay.
no. Well, I went
Uh,
to, I went to,
yeah, I know you went to school.
yeah,
I bet like a devoted Christian can like take away more, but like the guys throwing harpoons at the shadow whales.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't know what that meant. It
Mm.
looked cool though.
It did look cool.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, they were talking about like I don't know. They were talking about them. They talked about like the fishermen that just like fish for the whales that they can't catch, and I didn't even think about that in like the biblical context because like that stuff came later in the movie. So I was watching like that beginning stuff removed from that, and I felt like it kind of
I
never
know.
came back.
I know the fish was that fish they showed. I forgot what it's called. It's in Ark. It's a extinct fish. It's
Oh,
like called a cant, something like that.
oh, cool.
I think, and I knew at the time, but I think that's why it was like a shadow because they were hunting. They were like trying to hunt like an
Mm-hmm.
extinct fish. That's all I took away from it.
Right.
But I know there's more around it. But that's kind of like the most I took away. I don't know why Jesus Christ destroyed the egg. I don't know why, like I don't know his idea behind that, or like why he even cared in the first place. Um, the eye at the start,
Yeah.
and then like the movie. Yeah, actually, yeah, it is kind of very confusing. But I really liked it though. I was locked in the whole time. I never really got bored.
Yeah.
I was trying to decipher as much as possible, and I think I had a lot more to say like immediately
Me
after.
too. Me too. I did.
But
I did kind of have a conclusion like when he cracked the egg. I'm like, okay, I think this is what I'm getting out of this like right now. This is what I think this means. And I forgot how I felt. Yeah, and I'm
yeah,
sorry.
and then yeah, then the other major point is when he destroys the egg, she wakes up and like she chases after him, and she like falls in that like ravine, and then she see like her older self.
Hmm.
It's about like come and they like
Yeah,
meet.
they do the Ghost in the Shell shot, and they meet.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. How do you even connect that?
Hmm.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, he likes that
But
shit.
yeah, then huh?
He likes that shit. He likes
Yeah,
that shot.
and then even that like her being a kid, and then like her older self coming out the water, and then like sprouting all those eggs.
Yeah,
I know.
I know. I feel like they
I
explain.
think
I had I had like that shit like nailed down. I really was like I really had like a good like mental like understanding of that at the moment, and I fucking
I
like
think
forgot it.
my thing is my own. Guess what's happening here
Yeah.
is the eye. I'll say the eye is God, and he watched her go through like the efforts of like protecting the egg.
Mm-hmm.
He watched her. He watched her efforts of protecting the egg, and then when she died, like underwater, and like she sprouted all those eggs. I think that was like God's like her reward. You know what I mean, for protecting the egg.
Mm.
And I think that because like she got like her own statue on the eye.
Mm-hmm.
It's like she's like one to be worshipped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, even though that was my takeaway, it still leaves a lot of questions for like the white haired character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I did see him as like a biblical thing. I didn't think like Jesus specifically. He was carrying something that looked like a cross, um, and he did use it in an interesting way. And we have to
Yeah.
acknowledge like he was. It looked like he was like part of like whatever army or whatever thing, all those tanks that you see at one point. He's like sitting with the tanks.
Mhm.
And I thought like, oh, he controlling this in any way? The architecture of the tanks looks similar to the architecture of like the weapon that he's carrying. So
Mhm.
I was kind of thinking like maybe those him and them are like one and the same to an extent. And maybe he's like in opposition to that like big eyeball thing floating in the sky. And at the beginning of the movie, it shows like an egg of like a bird like about to hatch, like coming out of the like ground. I think it shows two at the beginning, right? Maybe, I don't remember exactly, um, but yeah. Um, the
I
the
read. Uh,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ramble. I don't. Go ahead.
I read that Oshi, he was Christian,
Mm-hmm.
and like
He
a year
stopped.
before this came out, he stopped being a Christian. So I guess he lost faith. I think I read a lot, um, and a lot of shit I said was like people saying that that guy is like kind of like Jesus, and I saw one person say like him losing faith in Christianity is kind of like
This dude breaking the egg.
it's kind of like represented into that guy. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
Um, I find it very interesting.
Yeah. That's
But
I was kind of thinking that too. I never drew an analogy of the dude being Jesus, but I did draw the connection of like yeah, this dude doesn't give a fuck.
yo, his design is sick.
Yeah, it's great.
His design is really nice. He's like and he's like the Trigun guy. Wolfgang? What's that guy's name?
Wolfwood.
Wolfwood, yeah.
Yeah.
Carrying the cross.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah.
I knew about this movie for years now. I'm very happy I actually sat through it.
Yeah, me too.
Because even years ago I watched analysis on it when I never seen it.
Mm-hmm.
But now I watched it. But even now I still wanna like I wanna really like read some more on it.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Plus, I think the movie looked great. I think
I know.
the whole architecture looked amazing. Like I can't even like this movie. It feels like the same exact movie, but like animated today. Man, it would look incredible. Even though, like, I'm not saying that they should or even deserve them, but it would look crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just like this style. It just reminds me of like Vampire Hunter D. So.
Yeah, it does. The architecture of like the buildings and the fucking the underground areas and stuff. It does remind me a lot of that. I just
And
remember.
another question I had was
Mm-hmm.
Another question I had was the guy, white hair guy. He like had the egg
Yeah.
in his possession, but gave it back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like, also like, I want to know why he could have just destroyed it there, but
Right.
gave it back, then did it.
Maybe his intention was for her to like jump in the water and do like the thing where she gives birth to like all the eggs. Maybe that's what he wanted or something. And I also think to some extent he cared. Maybe to like the slightest extent he did care about her because he like explained the whole thing to her,
I think
and you could say that about Jesus, kind of gripped between God and man and trying to play both sides. This is an angel that ran away from him initially as he's running on fucking tanks. You know, she's like, what the fuck did you do to this land? And he's like explaining to her, maybe.
I see him more as like as the villain. I think he just wanted to stop what she was doing instead of like helping. You know what I mean?
What do you think would have happened if the egg hatched?
No idea.
No idea. Exactly. But a bunch of eggs did hatch. Yeah.
Huh?
A bunch of eggs did hatch, like at the end. And I remember the final shot almost like communicating, I felt like it communicated that there was almost nothing left of like what was there. And maybe he was trying to get rid of what little was left. Man, I had more of an idea of what that. Maybe watching it, I can refresh my memory a little bit, but I definitely had more of an idea of like how I felt about that final scene with like the girl falling into the water. Let's see.
I think the guy, white hair boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think he thinks that the white haired girl has something to do with the egg, right? That's why he keeps asking, yo, what's in the egg? What's in the egg? What's in the egg, right? That's what he keeps asking at first.
Yeah.
Even returns to him and says, yo, what's in there? Like, hey, I helped you. I gave the egg back to you. Can you tell me what's in the egg now? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then he tells her the story. But then after he tells her the story, then he breaks the egg, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe he thought she would not want the bird to come after the story. I kind of like that. But maybe he was like, yo, maybe if I tell you the story, you would tell me what's in the egg. Or maybe if I tell you the story, you would give up on the egg. Right?
Yeah.
And then it seemed like she wasn't giving up. So he had enough, cracked it, saw what was in there. Because you don't see him after that. You see him at the end.
Yeah.
You see the god. But after that, he just like, when he breaks the egg, and until the very end, you don't see him.
Yeah.
So I don't think.
So the purpose of the bird in the story is to find. Let me rest this on the cup here. The purpose of the bird in the story is to find whatchamacallit? In the Noah's Ark story. Can you tell me what it was again?
I think Noah sent a bird to see if the world stopped flooding. So the bird was supposed to come back and tell Noah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and when he said that, when I was watching it the first time, I just kind of framed the entire purpose of the bird, because I didn't even think about the thing that you said about like, oh, there's two birds, like on Noah's Ark, and I was like, oh, I didn't even think about it like that. So I was just thinking about like the main purpose of just like the one bird, that the girl had, the one egg, and I'm just looking at it again right now. And we know in this world that the world is still like flooded, right? Or is still like messed up in some way. When I guess if you want to ask like figuratively, what does it mean for the world to be flooded? It's like, is it still barren and empty and like a wasteland as a byproduct of, I don't know, God's frustration with what's what's been built so far, right? And that's the impression I got. You know, if we're gonna think that the eye is some form of God, then it feels like the eye is the only powerful thing in this universe, right? So I was thinking that like this one angel, this one, you know, saving grace in this land that has the egg of the bird, maybe the bird, or the birds, because it seems like the eggs are maybe, and this seems kind of to be the point of the entire thing. Like it's supposed to be a futile attempt, or a futile, maybe not attempt, but just like effort to kind of get back to a state of equilibrium that it doesn't really seem like we can get back to. Maybe he kills the bird because it's like the bird is just going to grace this land and die like this one did, like right in front of us, you know? And he's like, maybe he's trying to explain the story to her so that she can give up and so she can understand that like what she's doing is a waste.
Wait, are you reading something?
No, I'm looking at the movie right now. Like I'm looking at the ending.
Yeah, I was just saying that.
Yeah. And I just the movie, I just like it like left my memory, so I had to like refresh myself, and I'm just refreshing after the ending. So like I think like her when she falls into the water, I don't know, in Ghost in the Shell, the purpose of it when she's like diving and she's like, you know, we just talked about Ex Machina, and Ghost in the Shell is like about Makoto, like a human brain and like a fully AI body, and she's looking at a reflection of herself. You know, it's like looking at yourself in the mirror, and then you like go to touch yourself and go to see like, am I real? And then there's like a water ripple. With this girl, she like, you know, touches herself, and it's like her adult form, and she falls in the water. And I think the water in this movie is a reflection of like the empty landscape, that the devoid like nothingness that there is. But you know, deep down inside of her, she still feels some sense of hope because she's a fucking angel, right? Like that's she doesn't seem like a normal human compared to like everybody else in this land. So like when she breathes like air out of her lungs, which seem to be like her last breath basically, all the eggs come out. And then after that it shows a shot of like kind of near the beginning. I think the beginning of the movie has something similar to this where it shows like actual eggs like sprouted. So it seems like even regardless of this angel and regardless of this egg, there were other eggs clearly before this, based on the intro and based on that ending, that I'm assuming do get hatched, and it just kind of amounts to maybe like nothing. You know? And I don't know. But then again, this guy has fucking tanks and shit, so it's like why does he need that stuff? You know? But the point of the movie seems to be just, you know, it's not gonna get better. Stop trying, Angel.
I think when you was bringing up the nowhere thing again, I think
The what thing again?
like just the Noah story,
Mm-hmm.
Noah's Ark. Like, I'm thinking that guy, white-haired guy, is Noah. The bird went out,
Mm-hmm.
never came back. Ship flood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the representation, but the world he lives in is like fried now because of the world, because the bird never came back. So like he kind of lost faith. I guess he lost faith in God, kind of like Oshi did.
Mm-hmm.
And then any like sort of like life or anything coming from this world, he just doesn't work with. So that's when I was saying like he told her the story just to her to give up.
Yeah. There's a lot of, I just like watched a part where he's like, I also heard someone say that Oshi said that he doesn't know what this movie's about. Like, I know Oshi said like he stopped believing in God, so clearly he knows what the movie's about. Clearly there's some like central focus, but it seems like even he feels like the movie has a level of obtuseness to, where I guess it took him until after he finished it to like even come to that perspective himself about his religion. But I just watched the part where the girl asks him like, what happened to the bird? And he's like, the bird is still dreaming. And the girl's like, dreaming? What kind of dream? And then he just asks her, what's in the egg? Like, you still can't tell me what's in the egg. And that's supposed to be like, the girl is dreaming. The girl is hoping for something grander and better. And he is pessimistic and stuff. It just kind of feels very... It feels like the point of this is that it's aimless. It doesn't know what to believe in. It doesn't know if it wants to be like pessimistic and like everything sucks. Like there's no point, or if it wants to be hopeful towards things better. And that's kind of why the movie's really quiet and very barren and very just like not positive vibes, but not exactly negative vibes either. Just kind of like you're walking around at night unsure. Yeah. It's an interesting feeling and a very interesting movie, and one that I will gladly watch again in the future. Tell me what you just you said it like a second ago, but your interpretation one more time, like what you just said, like in response.
I was saying, focusing more on like the Noah's Ark story. I think the white hair guy could be Noah himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why like he has the tanks, like he knows everything. He tells us this, he knows the story like firsthand.
Yeah.
Right. So like the bird went out, bird never came back, world went to shit. I feel like he's kind of like cynical because he lost faith in God. Then that's why he had that. That's why he destroyed the egg, or he wanted her to give up or reveal what's in the egg. And I feel like the eye. That's what I said. But expanding on it, if the eye is God, let's say eye is God, right? And he's just looking at God, right? And like he sees the angel get like idolized on God, right? I think that can be like, I don't know, but it's like, because even though he's looking at it like he's still like mad, right? But because at the start of the movie, God like ascends and goes into the ocean, and then at the end he comes up, right? He comes up with the girl on the statue, or girl got her statue.
In the beginning or the end? Because I think when the girl gets her statue, they specifically show that like, oh, the main character is like a statue now at the very end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like at the beginning, like he's like falling from the sky and goes in the ocean. Then at the end he comes up from the ocean with the girl.
The dude with the cross? Or
no, the girl. No, the eye.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And because there's a lot of statues on that eye.
Yeah,
So
I perceive those all as like angels of some sort, or servants of this greater
Yeah.
power.
And like I was gonna say, like, I don't know if that's like other angels that would lived on this ark, or just angels in like
Prior.
from wherever. Yeah.
Yeah. A land statues usually represent just like, a time of old. So
Mhm.
maybe some
I think
old.
but if I think the final shot is
Yeah, I gotta
him
gotta
looking
see.
at the girl on the eye on God home statue.
Hmm.
Maybe that's him like regaining faith, I think. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
during that shot, it also shows like the feathers of like what would be like a bunch of birds, like coming up
Mhm.
from wherever, coming up from the mist or
Right.
something.
Yeah, and I think her getting her statue is like God rewarding her for her service, for like keeping the egg safe, or he's
Hmm.
trying to, or
Yeah,
birthing those eggs. I'm looking at the ending right now.
yeah,
Are you looking at the ending?
yeah. I'm looking at the ending as well.
You see like how I think it looks like a ship.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, it does look like a ship. It does. Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly,
It does look like a fucking ship. I didn't like make that connection at all. And a world has formed on the capsided ship.
yeah.
Ecology and everything has formed. Oh fuck. The ship flipped. The water flipped the goddamn ship.
That's what I said, dog. And
um
now I'm seeing that like these feather scenes. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, what's the point of
I
the
think
birds, you know? What purpose do the birds have if
I think
it's kind of like, when you like bring up hypotheticals when you're talking about like the Bible and you're like,
mm,
what if this happened? Maybe it's like that, you know? What if the
yeah, I think
fucking
so.
thing flipped, dude? Then what would happen?
Then the guy lost faith in God, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, looking at it like at the end, like the sky is blue,
Mm-hmm.
right? Things are not looking that bad
Mm.
compared to the start, where the sky looks like Elden Ring and it's like blood red.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think things are looking up from there. I think the guy regained his faith at the end. Honestly, that's what I'm going to take away.
Yeah. It does seem to kind of have more of a, yeah, I see, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, because obviously he's not like a byproduct of the overturned ship. Seems like he was there before, and that's how he knows the story firsthand.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I'm going to rock with.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. It seems like his experience with the angel and her hopefulness, because sometimes when you're like talking to someone who's, you can be pessimistic and you can be negative, but maybe they're happy, right? So maybe his experience hanging out with the angel and chilling with her, even if he killed her egg, seeing, after she made a bunch of eggs and she, ended up as a statue on like the god thing, and then all the feathers that came like from all the feathers of like birds that seem like they hatched, but like seems like the byproduct of uh her efforts, like when she jumped into like the pond. Yeah, maybe it does seem to be a more positive thing, but at the same time, like what does that do, it
Hmm?
but at the
What
same
does
time,
that What
yeah,
does that do?
that's kind of what I think, because it's
I
like,
just think
yeah, the sky's
I think the
brighter,
girl
there's like a fucking
I
100
think the
birds now.
girl's like conviction or faith was enough to like change the white haired guy's mind. You know what I mean?
No,
Someone
but I
can,
mean,
you can
like,
probably
what's that gonna
derive
do for the universe? Like, the place is still flooded. You know?
maybe maybe his regained faith in God can lead him somewhere.
Hmm. Yeah, he does have a bunch of fucking tanks. Maybe he's been pushing him away. Maybe he has all that shit to like fight back, for some reason.
Maybe maybe those birds. I don't know. I don't want to make sense, but
Yeah.
you know,
I think that's the thing. Like with everything we're saying, his like, I'm saying with removed from his character, what the fuck are the birds gonna do?
yeah,
Where the fuck is he gonna go?
yeah. I know you can think about it like literally like that, but
Mm-hmm.
we're such a
Yeah.
like non-literal movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that really matters, you know.
I think it kind of does. I think that in like this non-literal, yeah, I see what you're saying.
I
But
mean,
like even, yeah,
because I maybe because the boat is dead. There's all like bones everywhere
yeah,
and shadow.
mm-hmm.
And all those birds can just bring some life to the boat, or maybe those birds can. Maybe those birds, because the original bird was supposed to come back and tell them that the world is fine.
Mm.
Maybe that bird somehow just didn't find its way back or died on its way. Maybe those birds will complete that mission.
Mm. Yeah.
It's hard to tell. It's very vague because even the guy, like even the white boy, the white haired guy, like his demeanor, his face is the same. He looks like the same at the very end as he
Yeah.
does it when
Yeah.
you don't know what he's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably like, for all we know, he probably could be like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
get back to the tanks
Yeah.
or whatever. But I don't know. With the feathers, with the blue sky, and with this world looking so like messed up, I think there was like a hopeful ending.
Yeah. The birds like breathing life into that area. That is a possible outcome. But if the birds are like, yeah, if the birds are a byproduct of God's creation and their purpose is to do that, maybe they'll fly away and maybe they'll try to find shit and maybe they'll come back, and maybe they don't come back because when birds fly, like they fly with the purpose of like resting somewhere else for whatever reasons that birds like need to do that, right? They have to like travel, and I don't know, for climate or whatever. And maybe they die like out in the ocean because they're like, okay, we're gonna fucking find somewhere eventually, and then they don't.
Nah, birds come back though.
Okay.
Like during the winter they fly down south,
Mm-hmm.
but then they come back in the summer.
Yeah. Lots to think about.
It's too cold up here.
Interesting movie. Builds interesting discussions. Why do you think that he lost faith in God if, with a hopeful ending afterwards?
Like why did he lose faith in God like initially?
Well, you said it was like right before the movie came out, right? So it was after they made the movie.
Oh, you're talking about Oshi?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was going through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't really read too much into that. I just heard.
Yeah, I didn't remember that until you said it. But yeah, I think that's all I think that I might be able to provide. But like I said in the beginning, I feel like with this context, I will be able to kind of pull something a little bit more concrete on the second watch. And I think that's the interesting thing about this. I think it can mean different things to different people based on their perspectives, you know. That's probably why Oshi's opinion might have changed after the fact. That's probably why nobody fully understands this movie, because there is no way to fully grasp it, because there is no right or wrong. I enjoyed it. Do you have a rating, Manny? I gave it a 6 out of 10, and I'm definitely gonna watch it again, and who knows, my rating will change, but obviously I liked it nonetheless.
No, I don't have a rating. Well, I'm looking at 7, 8.
Nice.
Because I usually don't. For me, if I ponder on a movie, this long, it can't. Because I enjoyed it. So it can't be lower than 7 for me.
I'm gonna give it a 7. One of the ways I ponder is when I write notes, and my inability to write like anything recently has just made me so numb to like using my fucking brain as much, which is why I just comfortably gave it a 6 and kind of forgot about it, because I'm just like, I don't have the energy to think and not be able to write at the same time. But after this conversation, I think I can boost it. I'll raise the rating, because it was cool. Yeah. All right, Angel's Egg. That was a good discussion. So let's talk about fucking. I'll change the rating after. You got to remind me. But now let's talk about Gattaca. Tell me how you found out about this movie. I never heard of this before. Wait, let me do this real quick. All right, we should be back in business. All right, yeah. Tell me how you heard of this movie.
All right. I saw a video on YouTube. This guy did like his top 100 movies. And I think this was somewhere like 50, 60. And it looks so cool.
Where was Truman Show on that guy's list? Was it up there?
I don't think it was on there.
Okay, because I thought that you knew about this movie because it was written, and this movie was written and directed by the guy who wrote Truman Show. And I was watching this, and I was feeling the entire time, I'm like, this reminds me a lot of Truman Show. And I liked this a lot. And I was like, whoa. I thought this movie was fucking awesome. I really liked it.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. This good.
Movie, Ali, this movie at the end made me feel like something unexplainable.
Me too.
I couldn't like grasp how I felt. Like I felt like I can't explain it. Like, I had this feeling after I finished it. I couldn't click off the credits.
Yeah.
I couldn't move from it. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. That's great.
It was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. I was thoroughly moved.
So happy I saw it. When I saw it, it's like the guy doing the top 100. It was like a small clip. It was the clip of him looking back at the doctor. You know, that one scene at the end. Mm-hmm. It was just that clip. And I was like, that movie looks like a cool sci-fi, because I saw the thing in the back, like the door. Like, I'm gonna write that one down. And then, I saw that was short, so I was like, I can knock this one out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and because I thought Ex Machina was like a futuristic thing, I was like, let me watch both of these short futuristic movies. And that's when I texted you, right? But this one, man, like the time I saw it, I was like, Gattaca. I wonder if I leave. I thought it was Gattaca. I was like, I wonder if I leave. I heard about this, and then I texted you.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Great concept.
fantastic.
Great idea.
Mhm.
I like the concept, and I feel like they utilized it pretty well. Like I hate when there's a gimmick in a movie and I feel like it might not be utilized to the fullest extent. Some movies are sold on their gimmicks, and then you watch the movie and it's like, you're not even fucking doing anything with it. This movie is doing everything with it. And there's like so many ideas that they introduce about like scanning your blood like when you get into work, and trying to discriminate based on like IDing you. There's so many things that they think of for like how the guy can get caught, and there's so many like things that I think of where I'm like, well, why doesn't he just do this, or why don't they just do this, or
Mhm.
and I felt like when I was watching this movie, I'm like, oh, I didn't even think
Every
about
way.
yeah, every way.
Everything was covered.
Mm-hmm.
Like his nail, the blood, his
Mhm.
eye,
Yeah, and
like the hair.
bro, when you think about the beginning of the movie, like I thought he was just like taking a shower or whatever, but the beginning of the movie, he's doing the scrubbing thing, and it's just like, then the music that's playing, I don't know if it's the same song as the end. It probably isn't. Maybe it's.
I think it is.
It is? Okay. That's even better.
Dude, that song, bro.
I know.
It's funny because that song, like the guy on a YouTube video, that was his song that he played. So while he's showing all the clips of these movies, like this song is in the background. And when I was watching the video, I was like, this song is incredible. And then I watched the movie, I'm like, this is that song.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. Like, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute cinema. You know what I mean?
Like
Scorsese?
Yeah, Scorsese. Yeah.
Absolute cinema.
Yeah. It
I
truly
love
is.
that's probably my favorite song in like any movie ever. I love that song so much.
It's definitely one of my favorite moments in a movie that's like propelled by a song, where like the song like commands the scene.
But yeah, like what you're saying, I felt that too. Like every way he can try to finesse, like he had that covered.
Yeah.
Even the way the movie starts, like it's like him at work, and then like there's a dead body, and he's like, I am not Jerome.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like,
huh?
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Immediately gripped, like from the beginning.
But I am not Jerome.
Yeah.
Then after that, it shows his past, him as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a
don't forget the
birth.
fucking the water.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But I thought it was dope. Like he had like a natural birth, no modifications.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when she's doing his like reading his like test or whatever, she's like, he has like 99% of like heart failure by 30.
Yeah.
And his dad's like, fuck. And then when he has his brother, like I know the MC, what's his name? Vincent. Vincent was supposed to have his dad's name, but then once his dad heard that, like he scrapped it. He's like, no, his name's Vincent, blah blah. But then his dad gave his brother his name.
Yeah, I know.
Because he was like modified.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was so dope.
Yeah, I like that. I like that they added that.
Yeah, and then because at the start, that's right when they said that part. That's when I thought like when he said I'm not Jerome, I thought he was like switching with his brother because his brother was like the modified guy.
Right.
But no, it was the other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they do the swims as a kid, and then he leaves to work. Bro, when he got the job like as a janitor, and like he would just like look up at the sky and see like the rocket, I was like, bro, fuck.
I know.
I'm like, this is gonna go so hard, bro.
I know.
And the janitor guy's like, stop looking up.
Yeah.
Get back to work. I was like, yo, this is gonna go so hard. I already knew.
That's the thing about this movie. It is kind of like the goal of like, I want to go to space, Mom, and I want to like climb up the corporate ladder. Like, it is like a generic story, but the gimmick of like the universe and like, oh, well, you're not genetically capable of that. That like makes the story fun and like makes the concept like interesting and stuff. But it also, it makes this otherwise generic story, like have so much more weight and resonance to it because there's so much like truly working against him in the world. Everything that you feel like is working against you in like the real world, it reminded me a lot of like The Matrix, where I'm just like, a lot of these things that people feel in our world today with like The Matrix when it comes to like I'm not in the real world, like, so there's something wrong. There's something wrong with this. This is kind of like no, I can do anything no matter what. Like no matter who I am, no matter my limitations, like I can fucking do it. It's just like The Matrix kind of in that sense. And this was
completely nerfed.
Yeah. He's not Neo, he can't fly.
This guy from the bottom.
From the fucking bottom.
To the top.
Yeah. This was my like Truman Show. This was like the thing that I was like, fuck, like when I watched. I was like, holy shit. Yeah.
No, this movie feels like a movie you watch in like chemistry class. You get that feeling?
Yeah. This feels like a movie I would watch in school. Like I feel like this is something.
But you don't get to finish it at school.
Yeah.
The bell rings. It's Friday. And you're just hyped to go home.
Yeah.
But like you're in school watching it, but you're not really like paying attention because they're playing on a shitty projector and it looks like shit. You don't really care.
And the movie's already kind of dark sometimes, and you're just like, I can't see.
The movie has like the Mexico orange tint. So you're just like, dude, I can't wait to go home, bro, to play Black Ops 2.
Bro.
But
yeah.
That's exactly how I felt.
That's a great way of like thinking about it. I'm always gonna think about it like that now. Did you know Uma Thurman was in this?
No idea.
Bro, when I saw her, I'm like, Uma, what are you doing? I never see her in anything besides Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill. So I get so excited when I see her in anything. Yeah. So that was cool.
She caught me off.
Yeah, Wheelchair Guy caught me off guard. I'm like, hey. Yeah.
The Heat guy.
And I think there were other people that were in other things, but and the main dude, Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke.
He has like artsy movies that he is popular in that I haven't seen yet. There's a trilogy called the Before trilogy, and it's like a relationship trilogy, and he's like the guy in that, and that's like a really popular trilogy of movies that he's in. But in this movie, I'm like, oh, this is why you're popular. Like this movie, I don't know if this was like his first thing that he like broke onto the scene with, but I was like, this guy's good. I was like, everyone in this movie is great. Everyone's like really good.
I saw an interview from him, and he was saying like that this is like his favorite movie, and it's he says it's like one of the best movies ever.
Yeah, dude, I feel you. I get it.
I get it, Ethan.
Yeah. It's up there.
Yeah. And his brother being the detective, I did not
make that connection or like guess that until he said it at the end. I was like, oh fuck.
When he yelled his name in that what do you call it?
The conference room or whatever.
Yeah, and when they
in the hallway. In the hall, when he's like chasing
Vincent. I was like, okay, there's no way he caught him like doing detective work. So he has to I was like, he has to know him. I was like, I forgot he had.
Did they show? They showed like a computer like.
Oh yeah, they did show his picture.
Yeah, so I don't know if that was before or after, but
yeah. but his scream was so like it was so passionate.
Yeah, it
I
was.
was, this guy has to know him.
Mm.
But like I was saying, at that point in the movie,
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about his brother.
Yeah. Speaking of that
'Cause
point,
I was like,
since we're kind of all over the place, like I love that part where he's like with Uma Thurman and she's like when they're like, you know, trying not to make noise, and I forget what he says and I forget what she says, but she like doesn't want to believe that he's not like who he says he is because she likes him so much, and he's like, oh man, I don't remember what they said, but I just remember it was fire. And oh man, I loved that. I love like that passionate like face to face when they were like right next to each other, and she like wanted to just like fucking, they just wanted to start like making out like hard as fuck, but they had to be quiet, and I was just like, oh my god, this is the best fucking thing I've ever seen.
yeah,
yeah,
and there's so many like points where it's like when the detectives are come and like to like try to get people, and it's like, how is he gonna like get out of this? You know, when like they're in the car and they're doing checkups.
yeah.
I'm like, fuck, it's over. That's what I was thinking. Like, it's
Yeah.
over. Even when they got every employee and made them do like a piss test,
Yeah.
or like the doctor had to like get their blood,
Mm-hmm.
and then the guy was like, they're like, oh, we didn't get him, he's not here, and the guy's like, no, he has to be here. Get a 12-mile radius around this building, get everyone.
Yeah.
It's like, it's over. I was like, there's no way.
Yeah. Dude, this movie, I don't know. There's only so much I can say, but like I relate so much to just like being like fucked over by being like honest about certain things with like the government and even like the medical like system and stuff. There are just like certain things I wish I didn't say, or I wish I like never communicated, or I wish I could like finesse in some way. And it's not like, you know, I broke any laws or like did anything wrong, or anything like that, but just things that like I'm like punished for on like a record that like I shouldn't like have on a record. And I'm just like, and after watching this movie, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna like start finessing the way that this nigga is on, because that's the type of time I need to be on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
No, but the ending too, when he's in that final piss test,
Yeah.
and then he was like, he knew he was fucked. The doctor was like,
I know.
and he was like telling the doctor, he's like, I was one of the best, and I was better than like the rest. He's saying something like that. And he's like, just know, doc, I was like better than most, and like blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I thought that was so dope because he's like
cool.
saying like, yeah, it's over, doc, you got me.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the doc is like, did I tell you about my son? He really looks up to you. I knew something amazing was about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, he does a scan. It's the invalid. Looks at it, he's like, yo, by the way, left-handed man don't hold it with the right. And then like the Hawk's face like of confusion, and then when he clicks the button and it's valid. The way Ethan Hawke, like his face,
I know
like,
his reaction.
His like reaction was so like
genuine.
It was so real.
Yeah.
Like it was.
Yeah, I know.
It was amazing.
Great acting.
And then like, yeah, it was, bro.
There are some
I rewatched it.
I
rewatched it like 20 times. I love that part. And then
yeah.
he's like, yo, you have a fight to miss. And then it shows his face again, but he's like, you see, he's like, his eyes are watery.
Mm-hmm.
Man. And then like he walks away, looks back again.
Yeah.
Dude. His face, like it's so
good.
So compelling, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so genuine.
Yeah.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
I love that scene so much.
Me too. I thought
I've seen it so many times.
I want to talk about the wheelchair guy. I kind of thought he was gonna be like, I didn't think he was gonna be like a main character in the movie, that we saw like more than once in the beginning.
Yeah, after, yeah.
And I also thought, if we did, he was gonna be more of like an antagonistic, maybe not a bad guy, but like someone that didn't like support the main character like this much.
You get that vibe at the start.
Yeah, and I just love that they became like they weren't even like best. I guess they were best friends, but they kind of had this like very very like cordial like relationship where they both just like understood how they benefited each other, and they both like, and it wasn't sappy or like, I don't know, it was just like, it was really good. It wasn't, there's so many ways that they could have done it where they like say lovey-dovey shit, like even though they're like two guys and they're like friends, like they didn't even really do that. And they weren't like super cold like when working together, like you could tell that like they were doing their best and they cared about each other, and the guy was like
on the same page.
Yeah, and there's just like I don't remember any of the lines because I didn't like write any of them down, but throughout the entire movie with every character, Uma Thurman, Ethan Hawke, guy from Heat, the doctor, like there's great lines with just every fucking character. I think like one of my favorite scenes is when like he's doing the swim with his brother. He's doing the last swim with his brother, and brother's like, we're going too far, and it's like that. It's like that. That's how I'm beating you right now, or some shit like that.
He's like, how are you able to do this? And he's like, because I never left anything for the swim back.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, like that's so cool.
Yeah, he was ready to die for that win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh man.
His brother had to. Hey.
Yeah, man.
But I can't. I love the fact that his brother was like, "Yo, I can get you out of this, bro." Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love that he wasn't like, even though their brother's like, I'm gonna take him down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of movies be doing that shit. Like, it's revealed that their brother, it's like brother versus brother, and the brother's like, I'm gonna fucking take you down, blah, blah, blah. But I'm happy that he was like, yo, I can help you get out of this and just come clean, bro.
Yeah.
And he was like, nah.
I also like that. Yeah.
I'm just happy his brother was just not like evil.
I know. Yeah. And I also like this that line that you just reminded me of about like with the swimming. It's reminding me of Whiplash. I feel like this movie like captures like what Whiplash was trying to capture without like maybe like, because I know you're not the only person that I know that like feels like it might be wrong for that character to like pursue that in Whiplash, but like this is a movie where they like, you know, it validates that like you know, and I like that. I like that. And he gets the girl.
He gets the girl. He goes to space. I love the line at the end when he's like, for men not born for this world, I have a hard time believing it. We know with that song in the background.
Yeah.
That's good shit.
It's great shit, man. It's great.
Even when he was like, when he was telling Uma Thurman, like, yo, like my heart's already like thousands of beats past due. And then I think that's when he gives her like a piece of her hair. And he's like, yo, you can scan this. And she was like, she threw it away. And that's good shit right there.
It was. Dude, with my fucking hands like being fucked up right now and me not even being able to like play games or use my computer or my arms, or my phone that much, I'm at a point where I'm going like, when my hands like get back to like a state of normalcy, which who knows how long this shit's gonna be, bro. Hopefully it's not till like the end of this year. But if it is, or if it's like even beyond that, if I ever get back to like a truly like normal state, I'm going fucking crazy. I'm not playing around anymore. I'm getting I'm going to do the things that I want, and I'm gonna make sure that that's like what my life will be set on. No more wasting time. My priorities are so different now.
Oh yeah.
And this movie just Right time, right place for this shit, man. Oh my god. Yeah. Just so relevant with everything I'm going through right now. It's good. It's good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Gattaca.
Gattaca. Yeah.
Yeah, they say when this movie came out, it wasn't.
It wasn't very successful.
Yeah, but then it became like a
Cult.
cult classic years later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never heard anyone talk about this before. I've literally never heard about this movie. But
And I like this little shit in the cover.
mm-hmm.
Oh, remember like the picture I sent you of that song?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like half Saturn and half a cell.
Yeah. Ooh. It is pretty fire cover art.
Man.
Mm.
But yeah, dude. Like
Yeah.
I said, this movie, it gave me a feeling I just can't describe, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm speechless too. There's not much to say.
It's so good, like especially for its short runtime. Like what it accomplishes, it's incredible.
This is before Truman Show, I think, or afterwards.
Came out 1997.
– 1998.
Before.
Yeah.
Gattaca came out before.
Right before.
Then he went on.
I know he went on a fucking tear.
Yeah.
He's got some ones that are apparently really bad, but
Yeah, we all slip up sometimes, right?
yeah. Yeah. Let the goats fumble.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I heard Lord of War is pretty good. YMS didn't give that like a 10 or anything, but it's on his like he has like a favorite movies of all time list, and Lord of War is on that list. The poster is like really cool. It's like Nicolas Cage, but he's like made out of like bullets, like bullet casings. And there's like one scene from that movie that is very captivating, like the intro of it. I'm now gonna like make an effort to watch that soon, because that movie looks really cool. But yeah, I don't know if I have anything else to say. Great movie.
Yeah. It didn't really connect with me that I think the director killed the guy at the start.
Yeah, I think they didn't connect with you, because I think they said that, like when.
No, they caught him.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. When it was revealed that was him, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
It makes sense though, because the guy was trying to stop, like delay or stop flights, and the director was like, "Nah, we gotta fly all year."
Yeah.
And then Vincent at the start was like, "The death of this guy can help me get to space, or is it about to completely like stop me from getting to space?"
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a dope line.
Yeah. Man. Yeah. Shit's great. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I'm gonna watch it again and again. I loved it. It was great.
Probably gonna give it a 9.
Awesome. New hood classic, truly.
Fantastic. See where it goes.
Let's see where it goes. So,
man, there's some good movies up in the top 15. Definitely top 15 though.
Ooh, nice. Awesome. All right. So, where's it falling on the list?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I think I need to like
Give it some time.
I think my list is fucked up. Mulholland Drive is a little too low. Mulholland Drive was.
I know.
Mulholland Drive banger.
It
I
was
got it at 20. It should be in the top 16.
I don't want to look at the list because I don't want to glitch it for you. Let me not do that.
This is gonna fall at 14.
Sorry if it's glitching.
No, it's not. And then oh,
Yeah,
where's Casablanca?
if I had a top 100, this movie is pretty great. I do like it. Just based on my ratings, I give most things, I give like between like a 5 to a 7. I don't give many things an 8, 9, or 10. But this fell into that upper echelon. So if I were to like rate like a top, actually I don't know if it would fit in into the top 100 because I think I've given 100 9s and 10s combined. But
I only have 8 10s. But I have a lot of. I probably have like 15 9. Like Old Boy and 12 Angry Men, Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to like sit down and rewatch a lot of my 10s because I've been like very like 10 handouts recently. And I want to reevaluate some of them. I'm excited to rewatch Old Boy. Did I show you the Old Boy? The Old Boy Blu-ray?
No. Well, Old Boy is that movie. It was like.
I know. Old Boy is probably going to.
That's like the brink of like 10 for me, and it's like to surpass Old Boy. Like, man, you have to be crazy. You know?
I know.
Like, you have to hit like Synecdoche and then.
Yeah.
Like you have to hit Synecdoche, like No Country for Old Men, Memento.
Yeah.
That's a tough act to follow.
That's the cover. It's just the octopus.
Doesn't he eat one in the movie?
Yep. That's why I show an octopus.
Nah, but you know my list, like past, like my list is up to 92 movies. Up to like 72. I'll say those are like good movies. I think once I get to like 150, I don't know. Never mind. I don't know. Because for example, I got like The Usual Suspects at 72.
Yeah. I also have to acknowledge I have like 1,000 movies logged, so I shouldn't feel that bad about having like 50 10s.
Yeah. Like this list started after I watched Taxi Driver. You know what I mean? And that was like in 2020.
Oh, yeah.
So every movie prior to that doesn't count for the list.
Man, you've only seen 100 movies since 2020?
You know how many anime I've seen since then?
Yeah, that's true. I watch a lot of movies. Since 2020, I've probably seen like 400.
I see a fuck ton of
anime.
Like with the seasonals and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and you play a lot of Rainbow.
Play a lot of Rainbow.
Yeah, you play a lot of fucking Rainbow.
I have like 1,300 hours clocked on Rainbow.
God damn.
On one account.
I have
multiple accounts.
On multiple accounts?
No. On my main account, I have 1,300, but I have multiple accounts. If I add them all up,
Yeah.
it's probably like 2,000.
Yeah.
But I'm really cracked. So
Is that what you're about to do when you hop off right now?
maybe.
Yeah. Dude, I am so sad that I'm not able to
Play Tekken.
play Tekken or just continue to be a fucking neat and just sit at home and not do anything.
A neat?
Yeah. Do you know what a neat is?
Where'd you get that from? I know what it means.
Welcome to the NHK.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Bro. Didn't I send you that opening like a month ago? Or like a couple months ago?
Mm-hmm. But I've seen it before.
No, I know you have.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that opening is such a banger.
Yeah.
I love that song.
Mm-hmm. It's a good song. It's a good fucking song. Man, I'm gonna be working, bro. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to do the job with my fucking hands like this. So fucking stressed out, Manny. My health insurance sucks. I'm just gonna be an Amazon delivery driver. It's gonna suck ass. Yeah. But a part of me is excited to never feel the shame of like seeing people I know, which is nice. And hopefully I'll be able to like listen to music. The worst part about what that seems to be is that like I don't even think you'll be able to like wear like an AirPod or something, which is like ugh. It's like how like the fuck. So
yeah, you gotta be able to drink and drive.
I know. How am I gonna drink and drive without an AirPod? They got speakers in the car apparently, so I should be able to manage with that with an aux. But man, it'll be tough. One thing I need to accept, I won't be able to survive mentally if I don't start leaving the house and doing shit socially.
Yeah.
But I'm like $5,000 deep in credit card debt, so I need to kind of be like I need to kind of be frugal with my money for like a month or 2 months, excuse me.
No more Blu-rays.
Dude, I haven't bought a
No
Blu-ray.
more Fortnite skins.
No more Fortnite skins. I never played Fortnite. I haven't bought a Blu-ray in ages. It's already been like, I feel like I haven't bought a Blu-ray I bought the Old Boy Blu-ray. I bought that with Christmas money. But besides that, I haven't bought that many things in 2023. 2023 I was a broke boy. But all right. Massaging my hand is fucking it up even more. I'm going to go make something to eat and then go to bed, and I'll tell you how garbage work was tomorrow. And then we'll go from there.
Oh yeah, brother.
Yeah. All right, Manny. Hopefully we'll be able to do the next episode sooner rather than later. And yeah, got anything else to say? I'm ready to sign off. I look like I'm about to fucking die. I look so goddamn sick.
Yeah. I'm about to go consume Elden Ring lore, actually.
Okay. All right. Great. I'll talk to you later, buddy.
See ya.
See ya.